This is episode 3 on Road to Romaniacs. Basically, where we're at now is because I have kind of my fitness nailed down. We have our schedule for training classes nailed down and some kind of races here and there somewhat nailed down. Um, my main concern is shipping the bike. So originally we were thinking the shipping was going to be significantly cheaper than it was. I mean, we still expected probably like $3,000 ish one way, but it's proving to be almost double that. So with a lot of the things that are happening in Ukraine and in the Middle East, there's a lot of conflict, and a lot of companies are very leery to get anything even close to Romania. A lot of places will get it to Italy, will get it to Germany, but I'm having trouble getting it much closer. And then it's, at least a 18 to 20 hour drive through multiple countries, through multiple border crossings with multiple checkpoints. So the concern that I'm currently having is A, it's expensive. B, if I have to ship it in a container, it's 8 to 12 weeks. And then it's another week to drive it. And that's not including getting stuck in customs somewhere potentially. So if I fly it, it's more reliable. But the closest place I can fly to, I believe, is Rome. And that's still 18 hours away. So that's still like 3 or 4 border crossings and checkpoints to make it through. And there's really no guarantee that the bike will make it without getting stuck somewhere. So I think I've spoken with Carpathian Adventure Tours, which is our partner who we've hired to manage the logistics while we're at the race. They're going to do all the maintenance. They're going to do all the work on the bikes. They're going to do basically all the trucking, because when you're in Romania and you're at Romaniacs, you sleep here, and sometimes your starts and stops are up to like 45 minutes to an hour away. So you need to get the vehicle and your bike through Romania and know the area and back, on top of racing. So that's a little bit of a logistical challenge on top of working on the bikes. So they're going to handle all that for us. And I contacted them about, because as far as we could find, nobody rents Teneres. Most people, especially from the US, in Canada, or Australia, most places far away overseas, instead of shipping their bikes, they just ship their suspension and they rent a bike, but that's with dirt bikes. When you're dealing with a Tenere, because there's not that many people doing it, and I say not that many people, there's like Paul Terrace and probably a couple other outliers. There's nobody that I can find that rents. So the last option, which I've talked to Carpathian Adventure Tours about, is having them purchase a motorcycle for me, and then I just ship them a bunch of parts. And they've been extremely accommodating and extremely affordable to have them actually pre-assemble most of the parts on the bike. So I'm just showing up basically with my forks and my shock, and we just install those, and I'll do a day or so of just kind of like pre-rides and tests, dial some things in, and we should be good to go. So I think as of now, we're waiting for one more phone call tomorrow. Susan is, because I say Susan does most of the legwork. We're waiting for one more call tomorrow to get some other pricing, but it doesn't seem A, financially viable, and B, just logistically viable to make sure that all of the money that we're putting into this ensures that we actually have a bike when we get there. So, I mean, I think I must have emailed and talked to 4 shipping companies. I talked to 2 on the phone. I emailed 4, and I've heard back from none of them. And Susan she sent some emails to some companies, and she talked to 1, and she only got real answers from 1 company. So we're thinking that this is going to be the best option. One of the things that this is going to rely on is going to be shipping massive amounts of parts to Romania, which is its own challenge there. One of our biggest supporters, Corey from Camel ADV, awesome dude. He really, really puts parts to the test, and he designs some awesome parts. Corey's been a supporter of us for a long time, and because he rides similar to the way we ride, he really tests his stuff to the max. So Corey has already said he's willing to ship parts to us for us to Romania. So we've put a parts list together. I've also talked to Slavens Racing. Slavens Racing has been a big partner of ours for probably 4 years now. I call and I talk to Alec over there, and he always answers the phone, answers my crazy questions, because they're mostly dirt guys, and I'm calling trying to convert this big adventure bike into a dirt bike. He's always willing to push and try and send me different mousses and send me different parts to try on the Tenere that he's not even used to. So he's kind of learned along the way. But Alec is willing to help sponsor us and ship us parts to Romania as well. I just confirmed that today. So those are our two biggest supply challenges. Some other partners that we're working with is Revit has been supporting me with gear, and Susan with some gear for like the last 4 years. So Revit's going to supply us with, I'm mostly going to run their gloves and I'm going to run their pants, because we're going to get custom jerseys made. And I'm running Liat boots, because I need a lot more protection than the Revit Adventure boots offer. They're still great boots, but we're racing, we need racing boots. And I'm running a climb helmet for extra ventilation. So that pretty much covers that. I think I'll have my Liat modified chest protector for that. And then what else are we running? I know the camera's covered and you want Face ID. Thank you. MX Tech is a huge one. MX Tech built the suspension that we're running. I have the first prototype production set in the US. It's the only set in the US currently right now that's being tested and running. So I will try and see if Adam will sell me another triple, and I will ship that triple to Romania. And then I will just, bring my forks and shock in a gun case as a carry-on to Romania, slap those things on, slap the wheels on, and we should be good to go. MX Tech has been phenomenal. I've spent a lot of time with Adam developing that suspension based off the experience with racing that we've had on the stock suspension and on the Olin suspension. So we've made a really significant amount of changes to make the bike just absolutely phenomenal. I mean, it went from riding like a stock Jeep to like a full-blown Baja truck. I mean, in the desert, it was uncomparable. I could hit whoops like third gear just pinned, and it just soaked it all up. And then I could go ride the hard Enduro, and I could dial the shock back because it has so many settings. It has low speed, mid speed, and high speed compression, along with rebound in the rear. So I could really dial in for the low speed riding and the fast riding. It's been a real game changer. I'm excited to try it out up here in 2 weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks at Grinding Stone Hard Enduro. So MX Tech has been a huge help. Blood Lubricants also jumped in, and they're supplying us with oil. CJ Designs actually hooked me up with a new set of wheels. So Wheelworks built my first set of wheels. We took the stock hubs and we relaced them to, originally I just did Takasago front and rears. I did a 185 front, and I did a 2.5 rear. The rear held up pretty well. The front, I turned square pretty fast. So we upgraded that to an A60. So they relaced stock hubs, A60 in the front, 2.5 Takasago in the rear. And those did really well. I wanted another set, but I wanted a full set with hubs, so I could swap back and forth between more aggressive and less aggressive tires. And I also just wanted a fresh set for Romania. So actually CJ over at CJ Designs, he helped me out, and he hooked me up with a set of W wheels. I think that's how you say it. He got me a full set. It's the same thing, A60 in the front, 2.5 in the rear, but I think they're the Han hubs, and then heavy duty spokes. So it's the same width, same actual rims as what I have now, just different hubs and different spokes basically. So yeah, CJ hooked that up a lot. And then Temple of Moto and Camp. Camp has been awesome about basically helping us push the heavy enduro training in the Midwest to get people on bikes and bring us some fresh meat basically to get trained. So I'm hoping that with all of our support that we can get stuff shipped over. I will have some stuff that I'll probably take off my bike. I have a custom tower that I've built that replaces the stock headlight. We also got some lights. Actually, I will get those real quick. Don't fall over, camera, please. Ruby Moto just sent me, so I built my custom tower, and the stock headlight weighs like almost 5 pounds or something crazy like that. And I built a custom tower to replace that whole headlight bracket assembly. And then I found these 2 old fog lamps that I just had laying around from a 690 build. But Ruby Moto sent me these beautiful, beautiful headlights. I believe these are the R4s, I think. And they are phenomenally built. They're just the right size. They're super lightweight, and they have these beautiful watertight connectors to them. So these are gonna go where the headlights are that I have now, so I can see at night in case I get stuck at night. They sent me those, which I'm super excited. So these will come off of my bike now, along with the tower. I'll ship the tower. I have a bunch of custom switches that actually Adam helped me design. I have a stunt lever, and I have, because the Tenere has a clutch switch that also works to put the bike in different modes, which is really interesting. So when you pull in the clutch, it puts it into like a neutral limp type running mode where it runs differently. And then when you let the clutch out, it goes back into a normal running mode. And what that means is if you take the stock clutch switch off and you try and not run a clutch, like an aftermarket clutch perch with no switch on there, one of 2 things happen. If you don't jumper the cable and you try and leave it unjumpered, the bike will only start in neutral, which I did at the KXC Hard Enduro, and that was much more challenging than I thought. Being on a hill, trying to push a bike uphill to get the bike in neutral while not sliding away, that sucked. And then on the other hand, if you jumper the switch, it leaves the bike in that neutral kind of limp mode, and it just runs like crap. It's got no bottom end. It wants to stall. It just feels stuttery, like it won't even clutch up a wheelie. It's just got such little power. So I built a clutch button. So I have a clutch button now that I just hit it, and that's basically my neutral switch or my clutch switch. So that's got to go. A couple other things, because I completely changed the handlebar setup. So there will be some bits and pieces and parts that I'll take off the bike that have to get shipped, or I'll bring them with. I'm also going to be running 2 Garmins. I found one on Facebook Marketplace, and I got one brand new used. And then I'm going to run the dual J mount. Some people said you only need one, but if one fails, it's good to have a backup. They also use, when they run 2, they run one at a zoomed in distance and one at a zoomed out distance. So you can see like more detail in the turns that are coming up quickly. And then you can see kind of what's coming up at a greater distance. So this will get mounted somewhere on the bike. I haven't decided yet, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I would say at this point, it's probably 90% that I'm probably going to purchase a bike there and have parts shipped and have the gentleman from Carpathian Adventure Tours build it for me. I'm not sure what I'm going to do after. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep the bike there and maybe race next year, or if I'm going to strip it and sell it, or maybe they'll buy it. I have no idea. Maybe I'll sell it the way it is. Somebody will want it built out. I just need my suspension back because it's a little too expensive to sell. So yeah, I would say I'm going to wait till tomorrow to fully make the decision. But as it sits right now, we're probably a good chance that we're just going to buy a bike in Romania and then either sell it or just keep it there so we can fly out, ride again, do the race again. I've heard it's beautiful out there, and there's a lot of companies, including Carpathian Adventure Tours, that do tours in the mountains. So it would be nice to maybe go back and go with Susan at least once when she can ride. So that's all I got today. This is going to be a little bit shorter of a one today. Oh God, was I filming? I hope I was filming. Yes, I was. And it wasn't short. It was 15 minutes. Okay, thanks. Bye.